Hi guys, how are you doing? Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Grace Combox, and thank you so much for joining me. That's my video playing, and as I'm recording this video, it's on 8th of December 2025 and it's exactly 8 p.m. East African time. So yeah, today we're going to talk about some of the lessons I've learned in this life that have shaped the kind of person that I am. So I remember the first video I made was Get to Know Me, and it's the video playing on my background. You can see, kindly go watch it and subscribe. So on this second video, we're going to talk about some of the things or lessons that I've learned in this life that have shaped the kind of person that I am. So the kind of person is the person on the TV over there. You know what I'm saying? Go watch it. So the first lesson I've learned in this life that has shaped the kind of person I am is getting to know who I really am. So I remember back in the days right after uni, I was in this self-discovery journey, and I was very intentional about getting to know who I am. I think that was the time I just finished uni, and I was not agreeing with a lot of things about the society. So I was like, oh, now I want to really get to know, to study life in itself, to study myself, to study a lot of things, you know. So I remember it is just some life situations that led me to get to that point. So I was like, how is it that now I felt like now once I've finished university, now that is the time I'm allowed to be myself. I don't know if you get it. Like, you know, before then you are under the care of a parent, so most of the decisions and choices you'll make depend on what your parents will think, what will your parents say, you know what I'm saying? And so I was like, I remember I just graduated my undergrad, and the culture in the school I went, it was like people finish their undergrad and do masters right away. So I was just like, okay, I remember my dad asking me to do my masters right then, but I just didn't feel like I was ready to do masters. But it was a thing, and it felt like it's the right thing. But for me, I was just like, when I look back, my whole life I've always been in school, and I felt that time I felt like why do I feel like many of us have been programmed to feel like our whole entire life should be about studying? And you look at so many people who are well learned with papers and PhD and masters and whatever, but when I look at their life, their choices, where they are, decisions they make, I don't agree with them. So at that time I was like, what is life? You know, what is life? Are we meant to be working all the time? Are we meant to be studying? You know, at that point I started learning about life, literally being intentional on each and every day. I was very intentional about studying this life. I remember studying about life, studying about God, studying about myself, studying about money, studying about people. Like that was my time of self-discovery actually. I felt like I did not want to work for, okay, I could get some jobs, but I was like, this amount of money they're giving me is not equivalent to who I know I am. But it's like, oh, you know, you have to take this job. But for me, I have seen other ways that I could make money that could get me going. But I remember doing some business. Now, sorry, Tramia. I remember doing some business while I was in campus and right after campus, and I was making a lot of money on a daily basis. So I was like, why do I feel like we why do I have to? And then I used to have this friend who used to do a 9 to 5 job. So from this 9 to 5 job, she could make, she was doing internship, which was unpaid 6 months internship, unpaid, guys. So me, I was just like, me, I cannot find myself 6 months of my time. Okay, yes, people will be like, yes, we get exposure. I don't want that exposure, I want money. I was like, this is how organizations like to use people, and then it's not guaranteed that after the 6 months they'll give you a job. I remember my friend worked for the 6 months unpaid because she was being promised a job, because it was like an NGO. If she could have gotten the job, it could have paid her well. But me, I don't like to take those kind of risks. 6 months of my life. So I was just like, you know what? This is what the society wants. This is according to society, according to many people, this is the right decision. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I was doing like a small business there. Every day I was making money. On a good day, I could make like 5,000. On other days, I could make 2,000, 1,000. You know, so just like me, if I was the way I looked at life at that time, I was like, no, because I was like, okay, if you know, people, it's about predictability. You know, that's one thing about business. Right now, it could be doing well, and you never know about tomorrow. And so is employment. You know, you could be working today, tomorrow you're sacked. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I was just very okay being this person who just like to take risks. I used to love freedom, and I just used to feel like being employed and earning 20,000. It was not good for me, because I was like, in this city of Nairobi, I know how I could make 1,000 per day. Honestly, it's just that people don't like to do those kind of things to make that money. Like, how many people want to wake up, go and get stock to sell something very early in the morning? No, many people like, you know what I'm saying? You know, people like to be certain that I have this job, you know, it's gonna be there for some time. And me, I'm okay with that. But for me, I felt like, okay, if my business is doing well, if I could make a lot of money this month, I can pay my rent for 6 months. You know, hiyo unaniambia 6 months that you never know what could have. Me, I will pay my rent for 6 months. I could even pay my rent for 1 year. So in here, I could survive. If my rent is paid, at least for me, I was like, I was just about freedom, and like I didn't have a problem working. But I was like, this money has to be reasonable, guys. I did business for a good 2 to 3 years. By the way, I was not employed for like 2 to 3 years in Nairobi, surviving on my own with my business. Yeah, I learned a lot. But Corona came, and the business went down, because most of my clients were international clients who live in Kenya, international students. But when Corona came, people went to their countries, you know what I'm saying? And I had to start looking for a job. That's why even when I'm working here, I'm like, you know what? Me, I know myself. Yeah, pay me what you pay me, but I know, you know, I know who I am. So anyway, that's the first, too much storytelling. But yeah, it's part of what's gonna be in this channel, storytelling and all that. Yeah, you've known at least a bit of my past. So knowing myself is something that really put me ahead of many people, because I remember even going to apply for some of these job interviews, and they will ask me for my salary expectation, and I will tell them, and they will try to negotiate with me, and I will just be like, no, you know, it's okay, I don't have to have the job. You know, and I will end up getting the job, and we were employed the same day with 3 or 4 guys, and we're being paid differently. You know what I'm saying? Because those people, they believe if you know yourself, you're confident in yourself, money will come. Just, you know, this is not for the faint-hearted. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you have to be ready to walk away from. You're just like, you know, me, I know myself. This is not on my level. As much as I don't have it, it doesn't mean I can take this. You know what I'm saying? That's what's up. So the second lesson that I learned that has really shaped my life is what you make of it. I remember in uni when you are writing our, what is that? Okay, I wrote my quote. My quote was, life is what you make of it. So this is a quote that I believe in, that I work with every day, because I'm just like, you know, this life will be as you want it to be. If you want this life to be, if you believe this life is gonna be hard for you, it's definitely gonna be hard. If you believe this life is gonna be easy, it's whatever you believe in, that is what you get. Whatever you see is what you get. You know what I'm saying? In so many other ways, if you decide your life is going to be like this, it will be eventually. But if you believe also otherwise, it's gonna be the same. So this life is just what you make of it. If you think this life is hard, well and good. The universe will always show you hard ways in which this universe works. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I feel like I've talked too much. And one of the lessons that I learned, oh my God, one of the major lessons I learned in this life is, well, do not commit, but in different scenarios. I mean, like, you know, by the time you commit to someone or to something, just know ni kama umejifunga. Like, that is the best option you could have done. It's like you accept this job. Okay, that is, umeshafungia zingine nje. You've accepted to commit to this partner. That means, like, this is the best you could get. You know what I'm saying? So if you know you're with someone or something that entirely what you want, the best thing is do not commit to it or to that person. Just have options until you feel like you got what you want, until you feel like, okay, now I can sacrifice what I want for this. But until then, do not commit. Committing. Okay, but one of the ways to get ahead of this is just make people feel like you've committed but you haven't. You know what I'm saying? You know how men always lie at you, oh, you know, you're the only one. Even you just be like, you know, you're the only one, but you know, deep down it is him plus others. You know what I'm saying? The same way. The next point I wanted to say is always be honest with yourself, you know. So in this point I wanted to say, like, this life will require you to be honest with yourself in all situations. I mean, like, you can lie to people, you can lie to someone, but lying to yourself is the worst thing you can ever do. Just tell yourself, whatever this situation I did, whatever happened, that was so stupid of me. You know, don't lie to yourself. Just tell yourself, oh, I was on the wrong, so I lost this person or I lost this opportunity. But trying to console yourself at, oh, yeye ndiye alikuwa hivyo, whatever was meant for me will always find me. Jokes on you. Sometimes whatever is meant for you will come to you, but if you don't know how to grace it, how to keep it, it will go eventually. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I feel like I can stop there. Yeah, those are some of the few 3 lessons that I've learned in this life that have shaped the kind of person I am. There are so many lessons, and I will make a part 2 some other time later. But remember to subscribe on my YouTube channel so that you can be alerted on any video that I get to post. Yeah, for now, that is it. Bye bye from me and my cat. You know what I'm saying? Bye.